Hey everyone, thanks for joining us here at Book Blather. If you're new here, I'm Dave, this is Olive, and we try to have a little fun. Well, we mostly talk about books, but sometimes some other things to help spread the joy of reading. So, boy, that was a close one. It's really hot here, and I was outside, like doing the pool and stuff without my shirt on, and I was just about to hit record, and I realized I hadn't put my shirt on yet. So, you guys almost got treated to something that you probably did not want to get treated to, but we saved it just in time. Okay, so today we are doing we're behind on videos. We're gonna catch up here, and one that we haven't done yet was we our vacation reads. We went on vacation, read 3 books, and this is like pre-Rocket Summer stuff. So we read 3 books. One we wanted to do a dedicated video on, so we just recently did that video, and that was this one. It was a nonfiction book called How Democracies Die. This book was phenomenal. I am not going to talk about it again but I would recommend you go check that video out, because I think I'll try to remember to link it below. Very, very important book. So the other 2 things that we read were just fun books. These were thrillers. And so the first one that we read is this: My Sister, the Serial Killer. Now, I'm going to try. I think it's Ancan Braithwaite, I think is how you pronounce the author's name. If not, I'm sorry. But this is a very popular book. I hadn't heard anything bad about this, so I wanted to try it. I heard it was a really fun, quick read, and it was. So this book was published in. This was originally published. I marked it here. Originally published in. So this was set in Nigeria, and so it was originally published in 2017 in Nigeria under the name Thicker Than Water. But then in 2018, it was published in the U.S. under the name My Sister, the Serial Killer. And this book was indeed a super fast read. This was really quick fun. I read this book in one day. And granted, I was on vacation, but I read it one day. That is incredibly rare for me. I've only read a few books in one day, even short ones. So this was I just picked it up and wouldn't stop. It was just it just flew. It was a great, fast, fun ride. And so what it was about is so My Sister, the Serial Killer. So our main character, she is a nurse, and she has a sister. What was her name? Sister's name was Ayula. And so Ayula is younger and much prettier than our main character is. And so Ayula ends up, getting all these different guys, but she doesn't take them seriously, usually, and she ends up killing them. And so that's how our show ends up starting off, is that, our main character is trying to help her sister clean up. So our main character is a nurse. She works with this in a hospital and works with this doctor. This is a very charming, handsome doctor that she is very, very much appreciates. But she's kind of like an OCD. She seems to have OCD. I could say that because I've lived with OCD. So she seems to live with OCD. She has a real obsession with cleanliness and making sure everything is neat and clean, which makes her the perfect person to help clean up her sister's messes. Because this is what happens: her sister gets in these situations. It's got a dead body and a mess, and she calls her sister in a panic for help. And so, the pretty sister Ayula is not, she's not, doesn't really have a great head on her shoulders, doesn't act smart after she does these things. And so her sister, our main character, has to constantly, clean up after her, but also keep tabs on her and keep her under control and stop her from doing stupid things. And then, of course, we get to the point where, despite our main character's Cored? I don't know how to pronounce the name. That's why I'm avoiding the name. But I'll just say Cored. Our main character, Cored, is she tries to avoid having her doctor interest meet her sister. But of course, eventually the doctor does meet the sister, and then the doctor becomes infatuated with the sister, which is a problem, as we know. And so Coreed tries to keep them apart and tries to, because she is actually in love with this doctor, but the doctor's attention is getting diverted to her sister, and she's worried that her sister is going to kill the guy. So she's trying to navigate this whole thing. And so it's really fun. It's tense. It's fun. It's like a little crazy. And that's pretty much it. Not much deepness to the book, really. It's just a fun ride. It a little bit of a commentary on about how most men have a tendency to just only like focus on a woman's looks and kind of to and have blinders on to other things that they should be paying attention to. And so we have this book, and do guys get what they deserve, when they're not actually paying attention to what they should be paying attention to. So this book was great fun. We would recommend it. You will blow through it. It was, if we read it in a day, anybody will read through this very quickly. This was really good fun, and we recommend it. Okay, and then the third and final book that we read is Lock Every Door by Riley Sager. So this came out in 2019. So this was published in 2019. This was Riley Sager's Riley Sager, not his real name. He goes by several different names. All the popular thrillers that we all seeing in the bookstores are under the name Riley Sager. And this was the third book under the name Riley Sager. I had heard a lot about this. I'd heard it was very popular and good. And so we gave it a try. And this was pretty enjoyable. So what this is about is it's a really good thrill ride. So it's about our main character Jules, and she answers an ad to go be an apartment sitter at this famous building called the Bartholomew in New York City. And it's really cool because if actually you're near New York City, and so if you're you know New York City, you kind of know this area. You know the Dakota, which is right near it, and there's a John Lennon memorial. So there's Central Park is right there, and there's a John Lennon memorial in Central Park because John Lennon was killed right there across the street. And so it was really cool because you keep they're in the park. The characters sometimes are in the park and they're in the building looking out on the scenery. And so that was kind of cool because that stuff, that aspect of it was was a real place. So it was, if you're from this area, that kind of just added a little element of coolness to it. But so she answers this ad to be an apartment sitter in the Bartholomew, which is this very old building with like Gothic, it's got these gargoyle statues on the side of the building, and so it's kind of a little creepy. And she answers this ad, and when she gets interviewed for the ad, it is there are these certain rules she has to follow. It's very secretive. Like there's a lot of rich private people that live there. And so it's very secretive, and you have to stay there. You can't stay somewhere else. You can't have guests. You have to abide by these rules and not bother the other people that live there. So there's a set of rules. And so she goes, answers this ad, and she gets the job. And her story, which you find out right in the beginning, is that she is very lonely. She's like I think a 25-year-old. She's just lost her job. She's just broken up with her boyfriend. She doesn't have any family left, so she's kind of on her own and poor and desperate, which is the perfect candidate for this job. And she finds out that she is not the only apartment sitter, like young apartment sitter in this building. And of course, she's not there for long. She meets some interesting characters. She meets some other apartment sitter friends there, and of course, not very long before weird things start to happen. So you meet a number of different people, and you just get shot off on this act, this thrill adventure. And so it doesn't all take place in the building, but near the building, either like in the building or Central Park or a cafe nearby. And she starts hearing things, and she's investigating some of the mysteries of the past of the place. And so it was pretty good. There was different twists. You do hear about this story. Some people talk about this book, and there's like so many twists, and you'll never see it coming, and this and that. Some of it at like a very high level. Some of it was a little predictable, but the details are certainly not predictable. And there are ways that it looks like it's going, and doesn't go that way. And so it was a cool story, and that story evolves, and what is Jules thinks is happening changes over time, and it had a really cool, satisfying conclusion. So it was not one of those books where you're like, whoa, like you just like get totally blown away, and you there's like this thing out of left field that just knocks your socks off. I wouldn't say it was like that, but it did have a lot of twists that were very interesting. And so the her constant like investigation of past people and past events and trying to figure out more and more what happened was all a very engaging story. And Riley Sager, so he's a very good writer, quality wise, and also had that style of writing that just keeps you like hooked, you know, like with the action, and it's very emotive, like all of the descriptions of what the characters going through. So it just kind of just pulls you along, you know. It's like done really well in that way that you want to just keep on reading. So it was very good. Like I said, it was not phenomenal, but it was a really good, enjoyable story, you know. And it was nice. It wasn't This book wasn't too quick, so there was time for a lot of, you know, plot development, and it was really good. We would recommend it. We would recommend it for sure. We enjoyed it enough that we are going to read more Riley Sager. And as you know, if you've been around a while, we often pick up used books when we go to a lot of book fairs, used bookshops, so we see things for $1 or $2 or $3. So we're always picking up stuff that we might read down the road. So we had actually picked up a number of Riley Sager books because we knew we wanted to try him. This was the first one we tried, and because we enjoyed it, we're going to read one of the other ones, not right away, but soon. So we figured we would ask you guys, because the other two that we have is, one of them is one that we probably would have chosen to read next, which is called Home Before Dark. But another one that we have is Survive the Night, which we actually found in hardcover used. So if you're familiar with these, and you have a recommendation of which one we should try next, let us know, because we would have tried either Home Before Dark or The Last Time I Lied, which we don't have yet. So we'll try one of these instead, since we have them. So let us know if you have a suggestion about which one of these that we should do. So that was it. That was what we read for our vacation reads. How Democracies Die, My Sister the Serial Killer, and Lock Every Door. So let us know if you have any thoughts about these or what Riley Sager book we should be reading. If you don't have anything substantive you want to say, you can always leave Olive a puppy emoji, because she does always like to see those. So thanks so much for watching. We got a number of videos coming. We'll see you again very soon. But meantime, take care of yourselves and each other. Whoa, whoa. Little hiccup there. Somebody rang the bell. So thanks so much for watching. We'll see you again very soon. But in the meantime, take care of yourselves and each other, and we'll see you next time.